Oh my god, there is zero screen door effect. My lord. Oh, man. Holy sh**.
Sometimes wishes do come true. I recently got my entire perception of modern virtual reality flipped on its head completely when I used a Varjo XR3, an absolutely insane next level VR headset that potentially blurs the lines between reality and virtual reality. But that same XR3 comes with a massive problem. It costs $6,000 and requires an additional $1,500 yearly subscription, no matter how good it is. That makes no sense for most people. But I made a wish for Varjo to drop the LiDAR, enterprise features, costs, and subscription and release a cheaper, more accessible VR headset, and my wish came true. This is the Varjo Aero, and the Aero is in many ways hands down the best VR headset I've gotten my face in. Virtual reality has never looked so good or felt so real within this price point. But that doesn't mean it's perfect, and still that doesn't mean it's cheap. Whether you want to buy one or not, this is a very important headset for virtual reality, and it's a looking glass into the future of VR, a future that is becoming the present faster than I could have imagined. Here is everything good, great, and bad about the Aero, and my experiences. So I feel I should clear some stuff up and lay down some context about where VR is right now. As consumers, we have some pretty darn good VR. For the first time in history, you can walk into a store with $300 and walk out with a fully functioning VR headset that does everything you'd really want it to do. And if you have a little more money and a good PC, you can spend $1,000 and get an Index or a Pimax. But if you want anything better, the price jump is outrageous. And this is because the best of virtual reality technology is currently locked behind locked doors in some testing facility, or an enterprise level price gate meant only for businesses needing the best of the best and willing to pay the most for it. And it's a little frustrating because I've seen firsthand current VR technology is far beyond what the Quest 2 offers, but it's simply out of reach for just about everyone. That's why Varjo's new headset, the Aero, is so compelling. You get most of this $5,000 plus $1,000 yearly subscription headset for around $2,000 with no strings attached. It's the first legitimate prosumer headset. Don't get me wrong, this is not meant for the casual VR user, but this is also not meant for companies willing to spend 10 grand on a device. It's meant to bridge the gap. So let's get into the specs and my interesting, nearly ethereal experiences with the Aero and what it does well and what it doesn't do well. I'll just say this right away, as someone that spends hours in VR every single day, this may be my next everyday headset. It's that good. But that comes with some unfortunate caveats that you need to know about. And if you're interested in VR at all, take a look with me, because this is your future too, whether it's with the Aero or whatever comes after it. Starting off with the build quality and comfort, staying true to Varjo quality, the materials used in actual design of the Aero is outstanding. It feels like a very quality piece of hardware. A mix of plastics, fabrics, and faux leather make it feel good, but I'm also one that can appreciate a good looking piece of hardware, and it ticks that box for me. It's just a pretty headset. But beyond that, this is the best head strap I have ever used on a headset. It's got 4 ways to adjust it: the back dial for overall tightness, the forehead dial to secure it to the top of your head, and 2 side dials that further lock the headset in place. When properly adjusted, this headset feels solidly locked to your head. There's very little to no shake even if you're moving around like crazy. The XR3 does use the same head strap, and it's fully sprintable, if that means much to you. And on weight, the XR3 and VR3 are 2 really heavy headsets. The Aero, however, is significantly lighter due to having fewer components. I can wear this headset all day long. Now, the actual headset specs. It's rocking a pretty ridiculous resolution of 2880 by 2720 per eye at a refresh rate of 90 Hz. Compare that to the Index at 1440 by 1600 per eye. Gone from the VR3 and XR3 is the center micro display, but that's kind of okay here. Additionally, these panels are not typical LCD panels, which are known in VR to have pretty bad contrast ratios, leading to black looking gray, which used to not bother me until I got completely ruined by OLED in headsets like the Aero. See, the Aero doesn't use OLED. Instead, it uses a sort of medium called Mini mini LED. And while I know many would hope for this headset to have OLED, I'm personally happy with these displays, and I'll talk more about that in my experience portion, but the colors are incredibly vivid and jaw-dropping. The displays get really bright, and the dark scenes, while they are not true black, do look really good. Most headsets right now use LCD panels, which have a constant backlight. Mini LED allows for local dimming. The Varjo dims certain rows at a time, but this is said to be further improved on in future updates. And the visual experience and clarity is simply amazing. Plus, the Aero uses aspheric lenses, not the typical Fresnel style that we see on most headsets, resulting in there being zero God rays. The field of view, though, isn't anything special, and I'll preface this by saying the insane clarity and vivid colors absolutely make up for the admittedly low 115-degree horizontal and 134-degree diagonal field of view. This is not a wide field of view headset. Believe me, I want more there too, but it's not a deal breaker. Probably one of my favorite features of this headset is the built-in eye tracking. Not only does it provide some really cool utility like gaze dots to show what you're really looking at in VR, but it also provides automatically adjusting IPD. You just throw the headset on anyone, and the Aero adjusts everything to that person and their eyes, even giving prompts to adjust the headset down or up for the best viewing. Never again do you have to deal with an IPD slider. Motors and eye tracking take care of that for you. Also, the cooling fans keep your face cool and lenses fog-free, even with a face-hiding mask on. Plus, the Aero is Steam VR tracked. Base stations are my favorite method of tracking, and that's how tracking is handled here. But there are a lot of caveats here. I know everything I just said sounds pretty amazing, and to be real, it is. I love this headset. But just like with everything, it seems, there's a catch. First of all, the Aero is still $2,000+, and that's nothing to scoff at, especially considering that that price is for the headset alone. No controllers, no base stations, nothing. Is it worth that? Well, it depends on who you are and how much you use VR and what you use VR for. And hopefully by the time I go through my experiences next, you'll have a better idea of where you stand regarding that steep and probably controversial price. But the negatives don't end there, unfortunately. There is zero audio on this device, no headphones, no speakers, and no microphone. There is a 3.5mm headphone jack that can handle all of that, but still. I'll be real here, no microphone is almost a complete deal breaker for me. I spend nearly all of my time in social VR, and well, VR chat without the chat part is just kind of VR. No offense to my mutes out there, I love you too, but I like to talk personally. Also, I stream and make videos using headsets and the microphone, so a good microphone is really important to me, and I have to resort to something like a mod mic, which is fine, but come on, the Index has such an amazing microphone. I actually don't mind using my own headphones. Using some open back Sennheisers is probably a better audio experience than what Varjo could have provided anyways, but no integrated mic makes any transition away from the Index so much harder than it needs to be. If the visual experience was any worse than it is, no microphone would be a no-go for me as a daily driver. And visual distortion is real here. There is some odd distortion in VR when you look around, and it's kind of a real kicker. It's not nearly as bad as the distortion I talked about on the XR3, and I did get used to the distortion. But if you throw on an Aero, you'll notice two things right away. Holy crap, this thing is insanely clear and vivid, and oh, there's distortion. Varjo has said this will be completely fixed, and it's entirely a software hurdle, and by the time they ship, this will not be a problem at all, but my experience right now is that there is slight distortion. And now we have to talk about my experiences using the Aero. Specs on a sheet are one thing, but experiences are entirely different. This is a looking glass device. It is so clear, and the colors pop so vividly. There is literally zero screen door effect. In its category of non-enterprise exclusive headsets, it is the best visual experience I've ever had in VR. I'm going back to experience older VR games and apps that I haven't touched in forever, and over again, I'm saying the same thing. It's so clear.
Oh, wow. Oh, holy shit. Oh my god.
Yeah.
It is insanely clear.
It feels like a different class of VR, and it's this really weird experience of feeling like you're looking through a window at a real virtual environment. Of course, it's not reality, it's virtual, but it looks so clear, it's surreal. I didn't think I was a resolution person in VR until now. It's absolutely incredible to the point that I was speechless. VR is so much further along than I thought, and you have to experience it to believe it. I don't even care about playing Half-Life Alyx again, really. I've already played it a couple times, but with a headset like this, with this clarity and vividness, I just want to be in it, in the environments, and to take it all in. It's beautiful in ways I didn't see before. It's almost a portal to a different world, and it reminds me of the early days when I imagined what VR would look like and feel like. Of course, you still have field of view issues and the other problems I talked about too, but this is probably the best way to look at the virtual world, at least right now in our segment. It's beyond immersion, it's holy shit, I've been staring at my hands for the past 20 minutes and awed at the detail while staring at the ground. It's curiosity to grab everything and look at it super up close and explore because there's detail where there just wasn't before. And VR chat. Look, if something's not VR chattable or social VRable, it's just not for me. Everything and everybody looks so good. Their avatars just look fantastic. Hopping into some of my favorite worlds nearly had me keeled over because I spent hours and hours there for years, and it's a different kind of experience with something like the Aero. And funny enough, one of the biggest problems you'll run into are the textures just aren't good enough in most games. It's like if you were in real life and a sign looked pixelated, it would be twice as noticeable and out of place. And other games work fine too. It's Beat Saberable, and I will say with 1000% certainty, this is an adequate full monitor replacement. In fact, it may look better than most of the monitors that you have in some way. So, $2+ grand on a headset that ships with no built-in mic, no controllers, no audio, and still has a few kinks to work out. That's a hard pill to swallow, and I don't expect most to do it. Even I, which tested the device, had a very moving experience while doing it and fell in love with it, am very hesitant. There's a lot of really compelling hardware coming soon that could change this idea, but right now, in relation to the Quest 2 and Index and Pimax's offerings, this headset beats the crap out of all of them in terms of clarity and experience. It is a prosumer thing. If that's what you value, you will be happy with the Aero. This is not for the casual Quest user. This is for the kind of person that already has a good PC and is willing to really fork out some money to be on the cutting edge of consumer VR. This is for the people that I think are like me, that live and breathe VR and save and put money aside just so I can be on the very edge of exploring realities. And I don't expect everyone to get it. I don't expect people to understand how someone could spend $2,000 on a VR headset. But in a few years, when this quality of VR is everywhere and it's the standard, I think then you'll look back and understand where this awestruck and excitement comes from. Total clarity, monitor replacements, the best of the best right now. The Aero isn't just a VR gaming device, and if you coin it as that, well, there's way better and cheaper options. It is a tool to explore virtual reality as a medium in a way that we haven't had accessible before. It has its glaring drawbacks that you need to seriously consider, but I think I may just put up with them, because something that has me on the floor, staring at my virtual hands, speechless, is a constant reminder that I think some of you will get. There is far more to this VR thing than first meets the eye, and it's coming fast, and this just gave me a little taste of it. But please be careful with your money, my friends. VR is amazing, and I know it can suck us all in, but no matter how compelling new expensive VR hardware is, and no matter how amazing virtual reality is and how much it can satisfy so many of our needs, make sure you take care of your reality first to ensure that your virtual reality is the best it can be. Don't go into crippling debt for some headset. This tech is moving faster and faster and getting cheaper. And if you can't make this leap now, that's honestly probably smarter. This will be bog standard and cheap before you know it. We're just not there yet. And on that note, subscribe to this channel if you want to be on this virtual reality journey with me, exploring the edge of realities. And like this video if you loved it. It helps out a ton. I hope you have an amazing rest of the week. Much love, Thrill out.